Jethro's incredible. So my first gratitude today is to my man Jethro, and I want you guys to kick us off today too. What's something that you're thankful for today? What's a win maybe that you had this week? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on, what do you got? What do you got? Some of you typing stuff in the chat box. That's good. Let me hear from you though. What do you got? What's a win you had this week? Let's hear from you. I know you had one. Anybody gonna jump out this morning? I know it was the fourth weekend. I know you're tired. Okay, Deborah got another listing. There we go. Anthony Adoricio sold our investment property last week. That's what I'm talking about. Melissa, you got 3 new buyers, Melissa? Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. And everybody says this market's difficult. Come on now. Only if you choose for it to be. Only if you choose for it to be. Anybody else? Anybody want to come off mute, talk to us this morning? A win you had this week? Something you're grateful for? Anything at all? Dylan, go for it, buddy.
So I got to enjoy the fourth weekend without having to worry about work. So that was huge. But also got a listing over the weekend just from a come list me call. So
Come on,
it was
man.
nice.
That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations, buddy. I love it. Hey, seeing Dylan on there too. If you are just when I think about the fourth, man, I can't help but think that we wouldn't be able to be here and have the freedom we have if it wasn't for the people who have served in our military, who are currently serving. Raise your hand if that's you. You've served or you are currently serving. Anybody? Hey, can we just real quick? Come on, come on. Let them know. You and I would not have the gift and opportunity we have to live the life and the freedom that we live today if it wasn't for the sacrifices these folks have made. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the core of my soul, from the bottom of our hearts. I trust you had a great weekend. We got to go. We did something new this year. I was pretty excited. So the PGA of America, come on, Ryan Holmes, is 3 minutes from where I live now. Okay. And they had the fireworks show there, but they had a drone show. Have you guys seen these drone shows? Y'all seen this stuff? That was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. They kicked it off, and all of a sudden, all these little lights went up in the air. And then they started making stuff. Melissa, they're making like a big Texas, and they're making like spelling stuff out, counting down. The most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was absolutely incredible. So if you get a chance to go to a drone show, your answer should be yes. It was absolutely incredible. And then they went into fireworks. My kids absolutely loved it. So I love it. Hey, over here we've got, let's see, military spouse, 18 years retired vet, Lisa. Come on. Yeah. Hey, and you're right, Carrie Lynn. The spouses and the mamas. Hey, there's it's not just those that go and serve, right? This is a family deal, man. Everybody's in on this. So, man, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Love you. Okay. Well, hey, we're gonna dig right in today. And we're gonna lean into something called reacting or responding. Okay, so I want you to write this question down today. Here's the question of the day. Am I reacting or am I responding? Am I reacting or am I responding? My real estate folks, how many of you would say we got a lot of moving parts right now in the real estate arena? This game's getting more challenging, right? Okay, a lot of people would say the word hard, and I would agree with that. A lot of coaches will say, don't say hard. I'm like, no, it's hard, okay? This is hard stuff, all right? Like we got to take our game to a new level. We're doing. How many of you are doing things today that you haven't done before? You're having to learn things today, maybe that you've never leaned into before. So we are in a very challenging time, and what I want to coach you today on is how are you responding instead of reacting? Okay, there is a drastic difference between those two things and how we react or respond. Reaction is typically based on emotion. Are you tracking with me? Okay. Anybody on the call ever been angry? Anybody? How many of you angry this morning? Okay. Have you ever been angry and then you operated like typically what you do, right, is in your anger, what happens? You react. You say things maybe that you didn't necessarily mean to say. You say things sometimes that you don't even mean. Okay, now sometimes you say things you really mean, all right? But I'm just saying, all right? Like when you're angry, it's this emotional response. Okay. Have you ever been anxious before? Anybody ever been anxious? How many of you have a little anxiety today around the market, around your finances, around the world that we're living in, right? There's a lot going on right now. And so I want to coach you around how do you and I make sure that we respond as opposed to react. Okay. When I just throw that out there to you, somebody come off mute and tell me, or type in the chat box, what would you say is the difference between reacting and responding? And why would I even be bringing this up? Let's hear from you. No right, there's no right or wrong here. I just want to hear from you. What do you think when you hear the difference between reacting and responding? Dylan, go ahead, buddy.
I would say that reacting is a response, but it's a response through, emotion and without thought, whereas responding is thinking through, what's being done and actually have a thoughtful response behind what you're doing and actually thinking through it.
There you go. Well said. Well said. Felicia said time and emotional mental health. Okay. Deborah said control, right? So everybody write this down. Okay. You and I cannot control all our circumstances. Yes or no? If you can, by the way, I am going to go on mute and you are going to take over the call, okay? Because you have figured something out in humanity that no one has, okay? I cannot control all my circumstances. I can control how I respond to them. Okay, I cannot control all my circumstances, but I can control how I respond to them. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that there are going to be plenty of things that don't go your way. All right? And I'm talking about just life, period. There are going to be hands that you and I are dealt that we didn't have anything to do with. I'm going to be wronged. Okay? There's going to be things that just don't go the way that you're going to make plans, and your plans are going to get totally just destroyed. Okay? You'll be like, no, I got to figure it out. Things are going to be good now. I know where I'm going. And then all of a sudden we wake up and everything looks different, right? A lot of times it's because of our own doing. A lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with us, right? We cannot control all our circumstances, but we can control how we respond to each and every single one of them. I want to tell you the best way that I learned this. Some of the best advice I ever got, although at the time I didn't really understand that it was going to be great advice because it sounded terrible. All right. So I'm going to lay it out for you. Okay. So this is before I got married. I sat down with a mentor of mine. He had called me. He said, I want to take you to lunch because I want to teach you how to be married well. And I thought that would be a really good thing because I'd been married before and I did not do it well. And so he said, I want to sit down. I want to walk you through this. Okay. So I showed up, Anthony. I had a whole notebook, bro. I was ready to take some serious notes because I knew old brother Dusty needed some help in this arena. So I sat down. I had my whole notebook, Sherry. I was ready. I'm just going to take notes on everything he says, okay? I didn't even order lunch. I was so dialed in, all right? We sit down. He said, you won't need that notebook at all. I'm just going to tell you one thing. And I was like, one thing? I don't know if you know this or not, but I need to know all the things. Okay, like one thing ain't gonna cut it for Dusty, Anthony. I need to know all of them, Ron. So he said, I'm gonna tell you one thing. He said, here's what I'm gonna tell you. He said, there are going to be days that you wake up and you don't feel love. And I thought, that is the worst marital advice anyone has ever given in their life, Carrie Lynn. I'm like, you're supposed to tell me that this is going to be beautiful and wonderful, and we're going to have this perfect house and a white picket fence and, like some incredible dogs and perfect children. That's what you're supposed to tell me. And he didn't tell me that. You know what he did? He told me the truth. He said, let me explain to you. He said, Dusty, there's going to be days you're frustrated, man. There's going to be days you're angry. Days that you're so angry you can't see straight. He said there are going to be days that she's on one end of the planet and you're on the other end of the planet, and there's this gap in the middle, and you don't even understand how to bridge that gap. Where are my married people at? Would you raise your hand? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Those of you who've never been married, just settle in. Okay. And listen, I'm giving you some marital advice today. All right. And he said, right in the middle of that moment, here's what I want you to do. And he had me close my eyes. Okay. He said, I want you to go back to the day that you met her. He said, Dusty, can you remember the day you met her? Okay. And can I tell you this? Ryan Holmes knows this. The day mama walked through the door, I was like, yep. Yeah, yep, that's her. Right? I mean, I knew. Okay. But I went back to that moment, man, that moment that she walked in the door. He said, do you remember the day you fell in love with her? He said, do you remember that day? Okay. Just for the record, I was wearing a elf costume the day I fell in love with her. That's a complete. We'll talk about that a completely other day. Nancy, I used to be a live elf on the shelf every year. I think about I'm gonna bring it back this year. Great marketing. Okay, great marketing, Sarah. Be a live elf on the shelf. Go all over the place. Just stand in the corner and be a live elf on the shelf or make some videos. I promise you, people will follow it and you will get business. You're welcome. There's your tidbit for today. Okay. Um, and then he said, but then I want you to go back to the day that you asked her to marry you. Holmes, you were there. Okay. We sat at dinner and asked mama to marry me. And then he said, and then I want you to go back to 2 weeks from now when you marry her. And he said, here's what I want you to remember. And here's what I want you to write down. Okay. He said, right in the middle of that moment, right in the middle of I'm frustrated, right in the middle of I'm angry, right in the middle of this isn't fair, right in the middle of I want to get my point across. He said, right in the middle of it, I want you to write this down. He said, I want you to go on what you know and not on what you feel. Whew. Changed my life, Carol. Changed the way that I look at marriage, changed the way that I look at life, changed the way that I look at business. How many of you have some things today, okay, in your life that are not going the way you want them to go? Right? How many of you have some things today that have you a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, maybe questioning a lot of things? Okay. How about in your business? You got some stuff happening right now that's out of your, a little bit out of your control, right? Anybody had a contract just completely fall out because buyer and seller decided we don't want to do this anymore, or because a buyer got angry or a seller got angry, or you guys tracking with me on this? This is, hey, welcome to reality 101, and especially in this market. And here's what I want to encourage you to do today. Everybody hear me. I want you to go on what you know, not on what you feel. Okay, you tracking with me on this? I don't know about you. I can just tell you about Dusty. But when Dusty goes on what I feel, typically it does not go well for me. Okay, right? I've got a mentor who literally says to me, week in, week out, Dusty, if you want to, please don't do that. If you don't want to, you should probably do that, right? Like just leans in with me and goes, hey, and so much of what we do is based on emotion. Everybody hear me real quick. I am not saying that emotion is bad. I think emotion is very good. Okay. I think anger can be good. All right. I think frustration can teach us. Every emotion that we have is good. It's how you and I respond to it. You tracking with me on this? There's a difference in react and respond. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a little more marital advice. You ready? You tracking with me? All right. You taking notes? Okay. Or if you ever want to be in a relationship, just listen. Okay. If you were to hold your hand up right now, okay, and I were to push on your hand, do you know what you would naturally do back to me? You would push back naturally. If I had Anthony hold his hand up right now, we were in a room, and I pushed his hand, I promise you, Anthony Adaricio is going to push back on me because it is human nature. If you push me, I push you. You with me? That is reacting. It's not responding. Okay. I can tell you this without question, and you can ask my bride when you see her. Okay. Every single time in the Oglesby household, all right, that mama pushes on me, maybe she's frustrated with something that I did or didn't do. Anybody ever have this happen before? Okay. And mama comes in and she pushes on me, Carrie Lynn. If I immediately push back, okay, can I tell you what happens 100% of the time? Carrie Lynn's laughing over there. All right. 100% of the time, let me tell you what happens. We argue. I know you don't believe this, but in the Oglesby house, oh, Dusty and Elle argue too. I mean, there's moments I'm like, girls. You're like, no, I don't think so, bro. And we go after it. All right. It's called marital conversations. That's what I call them, just marital conversations. All right. But every time she pushes and I push back and I react, we argue. Now, can I also tell you that 100% of the time, 100% of the time, Timothy, in our marriage, if she pushes and I meet her here, okay, and I say, hey, I hear you, and I don't understand, but I want to understand. Can we just sit down? Can we just talk about it? Just walk me through. Can I tell you what happens? 100% of the time, we connect and we communicate. Even when we're on different pages, even when we're on different sides of the plane. Are you guys tracking with me on this? Okay. Now, let me just tell you, my natural behavior is not that. All right. My cousin Sherry know me my whole life. All right. Like my natural behavior, I'm 5'6". You come at me, I'm coming back at you hot. Okay. Like we ain't playing around. All right. But I've learned that when I do that, let me rephrase that. I'm learning that when I do that, it doesn't go well for me and it doesn't go well for the situation that we're in. Okay. Now, we can use this in the four walls of our home. Yes. And we can also use this outside of the four walls of our home. Inside of the four walls of our home, here's what I want to challenge you to do today. Okay. I guarantee you something's going to happen in the four walls of your home that causes you to maybe get a little bit frustrated in the next week. And when it does, I want to encourage you to meet them there and go, hey, let's walk through it. Okay. Instead of react, instead of bite back. Okay. Same thing in your business. I want you to think right now of how many opportunities you've had in the last week to react or respond. Okay. How many of you have had a buyer or seller pick up the phone and call you and they are not happy? Have you had this? I mean, like they're coming at you, right, Melissa? Not happy. Okay. It is our job in the middle of that moment to respond and not react, to listen, to actively listen, to meet them where they are. And even if you think they are losing their mind and overreacting, which I'm sure never happens, right? That we meet them there and say, hey, I understand and I want to understand more. Let's walk through it. I'm here. I'm beside you. Okay, do you know what people want to know in the middle of those moments of frustration and anger? They want to know they're not alone. Would you agree with that? They want to know that they're heard. That they want to know that there's space. Dylan, I love what you just put up there. Empathize and listen before responding. Okay, everybody hear me. Not just have sympathy. You nailed that, Dylan, but have empathy. Those are two different things. Okay. Sympathy is, yeah, I'm really sorry you're going through that. And you may be sorry. Okay. Empathy is, I'm going to get out of my shoes. I'm going to go get in your shoes and I'm going to do everything I can to see it the way that you see it, to seek to understand where you're coming from. You guys with me on this? Okay. To literally get up from my side of the table, go to their side of the table, and view it from their optics. Are you with me? Okay. That's empathy. And that now that I'm seeking to understand and I'm hearing what's being said, now I can sit down and respond as opposed to react in the middle of the situation. You guys with me? Okay. One more exercise I want you to do that will help you, two more exercises that will help you in this. Okay. The first is this. If you will write down what you feel on a daily basis, okay, like do it in the morning when you get up. Hey, can I tell you there's plenty of mornings? I know you may think that I just pop out of bed like this and I'm like, let's go. All right. I just want you to know that is not true. Okay. Like there are moments that I get up, days I get up and I'm like, I want to. I'm tired. Okay. Like we've been dealing with a lot in our house. We had a mold issue at our last house. Like Literally, my physical body is not operating normal. All right. And I'm having to force myself to go outside of how I feel. Okay. Because how I feel is I want to go lay down. All right. But I know that's not going to take me where I want to go. So I have to go beyond how I feel. Here's how you do it. Write down how you feel. When you get up in the morning, just write down how you're feeling. Okay. And then on the other side of it, I want you to write down what you know. And here's what I found. What I know, 9 times out of 10, trumps what I feel. Okay, with me? Does that make sense? Like, give me some things you know work in our industry, regardless of the market. Come on, shout them out or put them in the chat box. What are some things you know, without question, work, regardless of the market?
Aggressively underpricing, creating multiple offer, and then selling for top dollar no matter the market.
Spot on, Julia. What Julia just said is pricing ahead of the market, knowing my craft, right? Hey, nobody controls how much you know, right? I can become an expert in the neighborhood overnight. Being able to price ahead of the market, that's something that I know. And when I can articulate that well, I can create multiple offers regardless of the market. Okay, that's something we know. That's something I can control. Yes, I can't control the market, but I can control how I respond to it, right? Customer experience, do I control that? Yes, I do. Okay, with me? Consistency, you control this. Yes, yes. Okay, these are things that we know. Dedication, these are when I stay dedicated, when I communicate at a high level, when I follow my calendar. Thank you, Carol. When you actually do what you say you're going to do, that's all of those things are things that can trump what you feel. Are you with me? Okay. In fact, if you wake up, that voice crack, by the way, is natural. If you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like going to work, the first thing you need to do is accomplish something that's going to give you a sense of accomplishment. That's why there's an entire book entitled Make Your Bed. Okay? And the whole premise is literally, the Colonel literally says, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. That's brilliant. Because he's saying now you've accomplished this task that was on your schedule. Okay? So I want you to write down what you feel, and on the right side of the page, I want you to write down what you know. Okay? Write down what you know. Okay? Julia put over here, best advice. If I'd been consistent to do the things I said I would do, I would triple my business in a year. Think about that. Okay? Here's the other thing I want you to do. I want you to write down what you can control, and I want you to write down what you can't. Okay? In fact, everybody right now, I want you to write down everything you can control. You can put it in the chat box. You can write it down on a piece of paper. What are all the things that you are capable of controlling? In your life, in the market, that's right. We control our attitude, our behavior, our actions. Okay? What else do we control? How many people I talk to every day? Dylan said 2 words, showing up. You control how you show up. You control if you show up, you control how you show up. Right? Okay? Each and every single one of us. Here's the problem. You and I spend most of our time focused on the stuff that we can't control. Like literally, guys, every single week, I am getting on here every week, and I'm going to be positive with you every single week. Do you know why? Because I'm so tired of hearing everybody be negative. Because that's a choice that they're making. Okay? You guys tracking with me on this? Like, you choose to talk like that. You choose to show up like that. I want you to show up in a way, I'm pretty confident that you and I would all agree that positivity is going to take us a whole lot further than negativity, right? So let's stop focusing on all the things that we can't control. Write down everything you can't control. Go ahead, put it down. Write down all the stuff you cannot control today. Let's see some of those in the chat box. What can we not control? Other people. There we go. Do you know how much time you spend trying to control other people? You with me? Like, I'm just telling you right now, this is not going to go well for you. Okay? Can I go back to the whole marriage conversation we were having, relationship conversation? You try to control them, it will not go well for you. Okay? You're welcome. All right? What people think of you. Okay? Interest rates. Buyers, we can't control any of it. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. All right? Go on what you know and not on what you feel. Get focused on what you know works, regardless of how it feels. Okay? We have to stop making decisions based on how it feels. We got to start making decisions based on what we know. You tracking with me? And here's what I'll tell you. You do that long enough, and it will change the way you feel. All right? Anthony, my buddy Anthony, I know has started running and like really digging into running. Okay? Anthony, I'm pretty confident when you take off running, you don't feel like running all the time. Maybe at all. But what happens once you get going and your body starts moving and your blood starts flowing? What happens, Anthony, every time?
Start feeling a bit better.
Yeah. It just like literally staying true to what I know changes the way that I feel. We've got to stop going on what we feel to try to change what we know. It's the other way around. I've got to lean into what I know. And on the other side of it, it's going to change the way I feel. And you're going to get the results that you want. Okay, you with me? All right. The key to you getting where you want to go is making sure that you do the things that you don't want to do. Here's what high achievers do, and I'll jump off. High achievers do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it. That's what they do. That's what they do. They do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it. You think every high achiever gets up every day and they're all excited about what's in front of them? Okay? It doesn't work that way. There is nothing you're going to do or nothing you're going to accomplish that isn't going to come with a certain set of undesirables, with a certain set of I don't want tos. Okay? Those are the things we got to lean in on, all right? So when you get the I don't want to feeling this week, here's what I want you to do. Do it. Do it. And I promise you it'll work well for you. Okay? Does this help you guys today? All right. Let's go. Stay focused on it this week. You are in charge of you. Make sure you stay that way, okay? I love you guys. Bless you. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Go get them.